everyone, and happy weekend. So I hope it's a good start of your weekend. And first of all, kudos to you guys that you're using this weekend morning, um, afternoon. For some, it might be morning as well. So you're using it to upskill and to know how you can advance in your career. Okay. So from the chat, I'm trying to get to know the audience and. I see that a few of them are saying that uh, Abhishek is saying that they are new to data analytics, and there's Sophia who is from MSc Information Technology, and she's currently doing an internship in data analytics. So, resume not getting shortlisted is one problem, yes, because uh, there can be multiple things out there. One that you might be applying to a job where there are a lot of people who are applying to it and the selection is already done. Or yeah, recently I was reading in the news that people are also saying that if you're overqualified, then also you might not really get into that. Was just one off situation, but generally you get the interview calls. So today's session, we are going to see that how you can crack an interview in Microsoft of a data analyst. So before that, I would like to introduce myself. I have been working with Microsoft from past like from the start of my career, and I was one among the top 10 data analysts in Microsoft India, where we were just starting the data analyst team in Microsoft. So it was pretty new job profile for Microsoft team as well. uh, all that while it was data analysis was done through the third parties and not really from at the like from the FTEs level, the full time level. So it was a great venture to know exactly how the pilot version of data analytics team has formed, and we have come so far now. And we see that nowadays, like data analysis is really something that everybody talks about and it's needed. So in my career, I have worked upon about 25 to 32 so it was not only just Bing, but there are many other products that I have worked in Microsoft. So it was a great experience as I had gotten a chance to work on diverse data sets, and there were different challenges in different products. So there were products from Bing, there were products from Cortana, Copilot. Recent one was Copilot. If there's something you guys have heard of Viva topics, that is something that we have been working on. And every now and then there are different tools that we get to work with as a Microsoft data analytics. In during my career, I've also got a chance to be a site lead for the semantic machines team, which was becoming Cortana was becoming semantic. So before the Copilot story, the Cortana existed, and we were trying to uh, like reform Cortana into a version who could understand semantics. Um, and yeah, I think that's about my career for now, and we will quickly delve into the topic for today, like how we want to actually track the interview of data analytics at Microsoft. So for that, a couple more. Okay, is if my voice is breaking again, then let me know. I hope it is better now. So, there are few questions that's coming in. So do pour in your questions for me for Coding Ninjas, and also Coding Ninjas is working with Naukri.com. So in case you have any questions for all of them, and regarding job boot camp, since Coding Ninja's Job Bootcamp is also sponsoring this session. So if you have any questions regarding all of these things, do pour in Q&A. We will answer it at the end of the session. And in between also, we will try to address few your questions if there are any. Okay. So I'll start with sharing my screen that I have prepared. I have jotted down all the possible um, tips and tricks that worked for me for from my mentors for my mentees. I have prepared if there are some things that they wanted to learn from it, and these are a few things that I have learned from my team members, from my managers, what worked well and what did not work well. So one thing I would want to share is that uh, this is just the best practices, and it is not a sure shot method to crack the interview at like as a data analyst in Microsoft, because every team might have their own uh, set of requirements or problem to solve. So based on that, they would put different type of rounds and different type of problems, challenges that you have to solve using these in this job, right? So based on that, you will have different rounds, different way that they would check your skills. Okay, so it depends on managers, depends on team as well. Like if there can be a team of 30 members, they are trying to fit you in, and you need to know how to work with those people. There can be remote settings, there can be people who are working with clients offshore. So all of these things, situations would occur, and based on that, different situations will be there, and there'll be different way of gauging candidate. And this is something that worked for me and few of the people that I know in my network. So that's what I'm sharing over here. Okay. Firstly is what it is like to work as a data analyst at Microsoft is like it's a definitely fascinating role, and it definitely comes with a lot of opportunities to work with different and diverse data sets. It can be very simple data set, it can be very complex one, right? So all of this is done to extract meaningful insights. You would be helping data scientists, program managers, the data managers. You would be helping engineering people. It could be anyone you could be helping with these data analysis, business analyst, or there are many more opportunities that you get as a data analyst at Microsoft to help people and collaborate with them. So it's all about blending analytical skills with the Microsoft robust tools and platforms that's available. Generally, it's Microsoft tools and platforms if you're working in Microsoft. Um, it is somehow sometimes in-house tools, and sometimes it is borrowed tools. It can be also tools that's widely used across the globe as well. And what it involves is like telling data stories to solve business problems, and how you can enable businesses to gain insights for making the right decision. So based on your team's work or your individual work, a product can be shipped or stopped as well. So that's how it can go global, it cannot go global. So data analysis can play a big role. Again, how much data, from where you're getting the data, also plays a big role. So proficiency matters a lot, and being proficient in performing data analysis, it proposing solution to enhance processes and performance, while you identify the areas for improvement using your analyticals and problem solving skills, right? So the more experience you have, the more things you can get to the table, the ideas, the problems, and everything you can solve if you have good experience or good hands-on tools, or if you are aware of what you are going to solve and how you can solve, right? If you have some background knowledge, then you can solve it easily. Or you might, if you don't have that knowledge, then you might end up being in a place where you're not having any knowledge on how to solve, right? So it's better to have more and more experiences and more learning. At Microsoft, it's generally told that it's a continuous learning thing, and not only Microsoft, but I think it's in entire FANG and all the big companies say that you need to continuously learn. With advent of AI, obviously there's so many things that you need to keep learning. Um, so what do you think when you apply at Microsoft matters? Because how would you prepare your mind then, right? So you need to do like why are you applying at Microsoft? It's prestige and mobility that you need to take care of. Uh, like basically applying at Microsoft is something which is prestigious. If you would think that okay, if somebody is working at Microsoft, it means something a lot. And even worldwide, you can see that having a fan company on your resume significantly enhances your market desirability and job mobility, right? So this prestige can lead to better career opportunities and sometimes higher salary. So you will have access to latest technologies and tools as well while enhancing your skills and productivity. So this is like the latest tools you're having, so you are solving the latest problems. Sometimes those problems are not solved by uh, uh, some other people, so those are unique problems, so you are solving those problems. And at at these big companies you have an opportunity to collaboratively work with people. You have competitive benefits, so there is a thing that you can specialize on, and definitely you will have a role and a project for that. Then you can work on high impact projects uh, at these companies. But again, how to prepare
So
your
just to cut you, I'm really sorry to cut you in middle. I just
yeah.
wanted to check: is are you sharing first slide intentionally, or are we not able to see it?
uh, I'm sharing the first slide.
Okay, okay, sure, sure, sure. Thanks, thanks for
let
the
me
clarity. So
let me let me is it better?
Actually, it was better only. I was just wondering, and some other learners were also wondering if you are intentionally sharing first slide, or you have missed, sliding
Changing
into.
the slide.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I was just trying to share like how you would just apply and how to prepare the mind. So a few things that were at the top of my mind I was trying to share. But however, we can just move on and see. Okay, one important thing that I was covering was that if you are trying to apply these companies, then you need to make sure that you are applying in a very competitive market, because a lot of people are applying there, and that is something that uh, uh, people with lot of experience also can apply because they want to get into this place, or even the freshers can apply. So it totally depends on how you're presenting your resume, how you are applying for that particular job. So you need to take care of all of these things when you try to apply for the job, because if you want to get into an interview, then first thing is you have to apply for the job and get an interview call. Okay, so to achieve that, firstly we'll see what all roles are available for as a data analyst. You can see different titles available for us when we are trying to apply for data analysis in all the companies. It's not only restricted to Microsoft, but all the companies you're trying to apply for, you can have different titles. Sometimes it might be data scientist or data engineer as well. So sometimes the data analyst work on a very simple task, be it labeling as well, or be it just Excel, simple Excel, or data entry also. Sometimes that can also happen, or it can go to complex things like creating ETL pipelines or creating reports for directors, the partners, stakeholders, managing the stakeholders, managing the project insights as well. Sometimes you will have to work with even the project leads and many other people. So it can go from a very simple work to a very complex work as well. And you might have different projects, different teams hiring data analysts. So based on that, you might find different titles. So these are few titles that you need to keep an eye when you're trying to apply as a data analyst. So a few screenshots that I've got from careers.microsoft.com, and you can see what all qualifications are required, and you can identify that there are some teams which is hiring. You can see here that we are data and applied science team, which is hiring for Windows Hyderabad. So if you're applying for this job, then you are going to work with Windows team here. And the qualifications that's required is mathematics and SQL and uh, ability to perform statistical analysis and all of these things. So I'll quickly jump to the main sections because it's already 20 minutes. So you can see a few qualifications over here, and this is coming from April's job, and there's some VX organization hiring this, and you have few more from other countries, not only just India. In US also they were hiring, and you can see 4+ locations. And here you can see again they are hiring someone who has mathematical skills. So the skills can vary from being very technical, being very I see having mathematics and statistics heavy to maybe just the data entry sort of thing also. Um, then you have particularly financial analysis internship opportunities, and there are times right now where internships are offered at Microsoft. So why I'm sharing all of these things is to get an interview call you need to prepare your resume accordingly, and we need to analyze the job first, what you are applying. You need to study thoroughly what job you're applying. Just don't simply apply because you are just simply losing your one opportunity out there. So try to apply and uh, with full preparation. And you can see that you can identify these responsibilities are there when we have gone through the opportunities that I've shared just now. You can see that these responsibilities are there. So if these things fascinates you, if these things are something that you like, then I would suggest that you go for this job role. If you don't have the interest, it's difficult to do good in the interview as well, right? And you will not understand few terms, if and then the job would become difficult, the basic thing, right? So these are few responsibilities that you need to take care, and it's crucial for a data analyst role in various organizations. So it's you need to take care of these, and if it's there, then try to include these in your resume. So, how you can tailor your resume to get shortlisted at the top companies is like you have to firstly keep it very simple and easy to read, because frankly, nobody would really spend time on figuring out how to read that resume. I have also heard that the resumes get scanned within 20 seconds also. So, how much you can cover in that 20 seconds? So, try to keep it simple and easy. You can provide few links to a few fancy things, be it Power BI report or presentations or all of those things, and keep it public if you're trying to provide those links. If you are providing links which are having a requests permissions and all of that, then obviously it's not a good experience. So if you want to do something fancy, provide links in your resume that might really, if they are interested, then they would click on the link and uh, get know more about those fancy things in your resume. So firstly, keep it simple and easy to read. Try to avoid as fancy things as possible. Be it like you're providing direct data and you don't need to fancify it. Then be it concise and to the point, exactly what you're trying uh, achieve through that resume. put that, like you have done a lot of courses, but again whatever is relevant to that particular job, try to put that. And you can put extra maybe, but if your resume is becoming a bit longer, just try to keep it concise and to the point. Try to use action verbs. Start each bullet point with a strong action verb such as developed, managed, led, implemented, and all of that. So try to write from an employer's point of view, because if suppose you were an employer and you were looking at the resume, so how would it look like and what you were looking for, or you write it in that form, that increases your chances. And try to highlight relevant skills and experiences, quantify your achievements, showcase your education, certifications, courses. Certifications and courses play a big role sometimes, because a lot of people just graduate and apply, but how can you differentiate yourself as having courses and certificates that show that you're enthusiastic? And if you're coming from a different background and if you want to apply for that particular job, and if you're having a certification, that means you're showing an inclination towards that particular role. So it plays a good thing that if you're applying courses and certifications and you're putting it in your resume. Try to use AI tools for initial screening. And before that, you can also try to have a mentor who can go through your resume. You can have like AI tools as well. And you can have someone gauge your resume. Is it looking good, bad, and what problems they are facing on that. Um, then how would you showcase your skills in a smart way is try to show the transferable skill. If you're coming from a non-tech background or you're not coming from a data analyst background, try to highlight those transferable skills more than any other skill. Try to incorporate a skills section, use action-oriented language, and show continuous learning and certifications if you are having some gap, or if you want to show that you are uh, going towards that particular direction. So, one second, I lost the bit track. Okay. So, yeah, this one is that we were talking about yours, how to show your skills. If possible, try to create a resume website of yourself, portfolio, and data-driven stories. There are so many things that's there. Link it. Try not to have a login or request option on that. Keep it public, and so that they can just click on it and get through, and that can really be helpful. Then try to use some resume passing uh, tools. Like these tools will help you to extract and standardize your data from your resume, and these can ensure that your resume is formatted correctly and includes all the relevant information. So it basically makes easier for the recruiters to access your skills. um so, how can you identify the transferable skills? Is that these are few skills that's needed for an analytics background, which is you need to have the analytical skills, research, project management, attention to detail. So all of these things, if you're including, it's adding all the plus points to your analytical role, and how you can highlight them is something that you need to uh, discuss it with your peers or your even research. We can have a course mentor, obviously. So these are few things that if you are trying to get it included in the resume. And some real world projects and case studies that I have uh, included is, I think these are something which is not so common, but you can try if you are having these real world projects and case studies out of your job. If you're already having a job, then try to include those projects and case studies from your job. And you can see that few projects are like sentiment analysis. It's quite in a trend these days. Then smart city, traffic management, analytics. We are seeing that there are cities which are going AI city nowadays. So before that, you need to have a lot of things in place. If you want to call a city AI city, your imagination goes like everything is perfect over there in AI city. So we need to solve few things, and their analyticals play a big role. And a lot of problems are still not solved over there. So it's good if you try to spend some time on how you can make those projects. So these projects can be a big win for you guys if you really have solved some real time problems, not just copy pasted from internet. So how you can get part from a big crowd is that you need to solve some problems by yourself, real time problems, and not just copy paste from internet. Okay. Then before moving on to things like how you can like put some things on your resume that can beat the application tracking systems. Um, I would like to say that if you have any questions regarding the job boot camp, or like how you can form a roadmap towards becoming a data analyst, and uh, if you want to talk to mentors like me, and how you can get more guidance on all of these things, because sometimes people from industry can give you real time insights on how you can make or make your resume better. So for that we have created a form, like Coding Ninja is providing a form to us, and you can fill those forms, and they can reach out to you, or you can put some questions out there where they will reach out to you if they want to like address those questions. So I would like to ask Coding Ninja's team to share that form with you guys. This can be helpful to you guys to get some kind of mentoring. And we will also get to know what kind of questions are there out there for you guys to address it in our next section as well. So, Coding Ninja stream, if you could share that form with the audience in the chat. Um, Okay, it is already shared by the Coding Ninjas team. Take 1 or 2 minutes to fill this form. Here, you can also get more information on how you can apply to particular jobs. Sometimes you need help on what to write in the cover letter. You have a lot of things, but you can't really get into that particular job. So Coding Ninjas have a lot of team from different companies, and they have accumulated their own data on how application processes can work, and they can provide you some expertise. So you can fill those forms, and they can help you in the guidance and give you comprehensive training offers and things like that. So take 1 2 minutes, and then we will continue with this. So the form link is shared again. So take your time and fill that form. Meanwhile, I will just continue with the PPT, and see if you could connect. It's a good opportunity to connect with the mentors and many other resources available with Coding Ninjas and Naukri. So try to fill that form and see if you can reach out to them. All right. So, how you can beat the application tracking system? First of all, people who don't know application tracking system, nowadays a lot of people are using application tracking system to filter out a lot of resumes, since a lot of resumes are coming which might not be worthy for the job. So they have built a tracking system. It's a software which would check for basic things like it checks for relevant information such as your contact details, work experiences, education and skills, keyword matching, and some basically if it's trying to check if you are relevant to that job. Sometimes people might apply to data analytics job but give a resume of a chef, so that's completely irrelevant, and it's not a point of uh, a recruiter should not go through all of those things. So it's saving time. So that's ATS, and how you can avoid basic things that ATS is doing, that you can put it in your resume and avoid getting rejected at the ATS level, right? So check out if there are some abbreviations related to the job, try to expand them, and try to put it into parentheses, the full form of the abbreviations. Then you should try to avoid some keyword stuffing. Okay, you know that these keywords are important, but don't overdo it, because it's definitely important to include the keywords. But if you're sort of mm, like overloading it and stuffing it, it looks unnatural, and ATS can also flag that as well. Like, what if somebody is just trying to copy paste the entire job description in the resume and sending it? It doesn't mean that ATS will pass that. ATS will simply reject that also. So you need to be take care. You need to be taking care of that as well. Try to take care of the spellings and the grammars, because if you're applying for artificial intelligence job and intelligence spelling is wrong or artificial spelling is wrong, you might lose that job because of just the spelling and grammar. So take care of that. Keep checking your resume again and again. Uh, and try to use simple layout, avoid complex formatting, and if there's missing contact information, how are the people going to contact you? So there are a few things that I have covered on how to make your resume worth getting selected for interview. Right. uh, and once you are selected, you need to have some story as well to your resume. So make sure if you have some story to your resume, then that would increase your chances of, like, okay, you have some cognitive thinking, that you can make your resume in a data driven style, or you already know how to put things together or cohesive manner, right? So it can be depicted through your resume. And how you can do that is you can have a story to tell through your resume, that you can tell when you are asked about me section, or run through your resume. So you can tell it in a story form. Try to put it in a visual form if possible, and share the link in the resume, or you can present it while interview, and always try to focus on impact. So when you're giving a basic first round to what exactly you bringing to the table, you can put these things and have more confidence when you are asked about me, or run through your resume. These things are something which is people know, but people try to hesitate, or they get nervous at these point, and maybe mess up also, and they might also think that, okay, if the recruiter is already having my resume, then why should I run through it? This is something that you can put forward, and you can make yourself stand out, right? So you, instead of just going through basic thing of education and this and that, you're just crafting a story out of that. So you can have a data driven story. And this is one example that I'm trying to project here, where you can have the introduction, how you did the data collection, analysis, results, implementation, what was the impact, and conclude it with, you should have a conclusion to the story. So you can include all of these things included in your resume and in your first question that you put in, as in like explain about your job, or the basic questions that you get asked. Um, Sorry, that's coming from my mobile. So this is one example coming from one of the resumes that I tried to make, where you can say that, hey, I'm a data analytics specialist with 5 years of experience. You're basically putting your professional summary, then you're summarizing your work experience, what projects, what skills you applied, and what was the impact of it. Uh, if you try to put those things in your resume in this way, and you try to put that in the top most section, the people, if they are trying to scan your resume, the first lines they would scan and they would see, okay, there's some story to it, and they would understand, okay, these skills are required for this project. And so that's how they would create a cohesive thing, and this would slightly make your resume better and polished one. um Few resume mistakes that can sabotage your chances, like having spelling, grammar. I think this one I can skip. um So, few things that you need to uh, take care when you are trying to prepare for Microsoft interviews is research the company, stay updated with the latest news, because there might be questions and some problems might come into your plate when interview is going on, because they really have that problem and it's coming from the recent things. Like if you would say Microsoft have announced maybe Copilot going really big, or even Google is trying to achieve something through Bard. But there are some problems that they are facing. You can be someone who's solving that, right? Or you have some vision to solve that problem. So that's how the research in the company takes comes into the picture, and you can put that. You try to include that when you're trying to show your real time projects or research or anything of that. So try to include that when interviewer asks you questions. So one very important thing is this: research the job as well. If you are applying for a job, that means you're trying to solve a problem at a company. So I generally feel that if there is a job opening, then they're definitely trying to solve a problem. So, what problem are they trying to solve is, or you can try to understand, and what solutions are you offering that you can offer through this. Then you should need to understand the interview process. Sometimes it is available in the market. Sometimes you can ask your HR, you can ask the interviewer themselves, like what would be the process, what are the rounds, and things like that. It can be same as what they are telling, or it can be something more depending on how they are assessing you. Try to do practice some virtual interviews with your mentors, peers, or use some tools, courses, all of those things. So it becomes necessary when you're not doing it for the first time. In the first time, you might make some glitches that you can avoid when you do some practices. And prepare for technical interviews. There are a lot of experiences shared about technical interviews. So prepare for those. And if you're applying for a technical role, make sure you know a lot of things, because they can ask you any problem. And if you are very open and very true to what exactly you know is what they are looking for. Don't try to bluff that you know these things, and then uh, in the interview they can basically judge you out that you don't know all of these things, because think from the perspective that they have gone through a lot of resumes, and also they can gauge, because they are sitting at a very expertise level, so they can understand if you're trying to fake it. So I would say don't try to fake it, and don't try to lie, especially at these companies. It may not work for you, and you might not even get a feedback that hey, you are lying or you're faking it out. So it's straight out say no further processes. So try to get the expertise and then only attend these interviews. There will be behavioral questions. For that you can apply STAR framework, which is a situation, task, action, and result. uh, this is very common framework. It's in trend these days, and also good way to answer behavioral questions, like what was the situation, if there was a conflict between your team member, how did you solve it, and what actions did you take. You reached out to your manager, you solved it by yourself, you reached out to that person, you noted down, and then it resolved, came to a common point. All of these things you can tell. And result, what was it like? Okay, you could work in harmony and you achieved something through that within 10 days, 5 days, whatever. So try to put numbers as well over here in the results. Impact, what was it? So those things can be of brownie points on if there are some problems that's already existing in the team. Every team would have some or the other problem, and your behavioral questions would bring maybe new flavor to the team, or you might even blend in the team they are looking for. So this is completely luck based, or even if you ask few questions to the recruiter that how is the team, what are you expecting from me as a team member, then also you can get to know exactly what they are looking for you as a team member. Then know your competencies and what exactly is required in the job. Uh, it's the same as previous one that we have covered. That is technical interviews if you have then how you're going to cover that. The same way you should know your competencies, or if you can have some more competencies apart from technical, like you have adaptability, you have collaboration, or you solved some customer problems, stakeholders problems, some problems that your manager were facing, they were not able to solve, but you solved it. Eat the frog is some term that they use. So those things if you have done in your job or in your universities, then you can um, put it over here. Be prepared to demonstrate these competencies through your past experiences. Try to pull the interviewers that they can see these competencies as well. Uh, but don't overdo, don't waste their time if you're not looking for it. Sometimes they might be, so it depends on how you're trying to gauge their body language as well. And don't try to bore them. So uh, make sure that you're trying to put some interesting facts that can be interesting to them. So if there might be few things that it might be not clicking them at that time, but you bring that up as your strength, then that would be a brownie point to you, that okay, these things that they can add to the team, and it is a long due thing or a problem which is lying out there but it's not getting solved, but you can solve. So that can increase your chances of getting selected. um and like if you are not from the same city, you can request for the accommodations if needed. If you're having little problem, then you can try to request for the accommodation, and if you're a right candidate and uh, all that thing you're bringing to the table, then they would be lenient to give you the accommodation. So it's good to ask if you want, so that you see you can get what you want to prepare good for your interview. It doesn't mean that you're asking them for accommodations in a hotel or anything of that sort, but something like if I'm trying to say that you're a woman and you want some online interview process or something of that sort, maybe for some reason, then you can try to say that, hey, I'm on so and so break and I would want an online interview. So those things, if possible, you can ask basic things. Uh, some small things that can make your interview process easy. Don't uh, force them for those accommodations, but if needed, only ask them. Few interview rounds that would appear to you guys are these, and these are few that I have observed so far and heard stories and have gone through few of them. So these interview rounds are some things which are very common, but there can be few more. But I cannot think of anything that might be missing over here. But in case you guys think there's something missing, do let us know that you have experienced some interview round apart from these at fangs and mangs and all of those, and we have not included. Let me know in chat. So these are few interview rounds. On initial screening would be done. There would be video call, phone call with an HR recruiter or the initial screener round. And here they would assess your background, experience, interest in the role. They might discuss your resume and relevant projects, your expectations from the job. all of those things, and notice period, all of those things might be asked here. Then there's something called cognitive assessments, which are the tests which checks your mental functions and ability for crucial tasks that might be there with them. It involves basically the analytical round, the reasoning round, the problem solving, and your comprehension and all of that. So it might be needed for few jobs. It might not be needed as well. So this is sort of an optional round. But generally, in an analytical role, you would need some kind of skills that should be projected here as an analytical skill. So it can include aptitude test also, aptitude test, quantitative test, all of those things come in these rounds. Then there's technical interview rounds, which is highly related to the job. They might ask you what things you have done. They might ask you about the tools. Be prepared. You can be asked many depth questions here in technical interview rounds, and how you approach the problems for those particular technical problems. So it can again vary from beginner level to advanced level as well. So depending on what kind of job and what interviewer is looking for in the candidate, they can put these questions out there. So you can expect questions like difference between Power BI and Tableau, explain DAX, or how did you do some kind of analysis when such problem existed. So this can also lead to scenario based questions, where they would put you into a scenario and they would say that how are you going to address this scenario. It shows your time management skill, your approach to a problem, your ability to solve a problem, and what tools you know, how you can, you know, any frameworks and all of those things come in picture over here. So some examples, like you have some sales metrics data. Now create a dashboard showing monthly revenue, or you want to show this data to the stakeholder. How are you going to create the report? Sometimes you might have to create reports like about 10 to 15 in a month as well, for different stakeholders. Or you might have to create only one or something of that sort. So how are you going to address those issues at your job? That will be assessed over here. Then there'll be something like based on how you're solving your solutions and everything, they would ask questions like how can you handle data from multiple sources. Maybe you have solved the problem entirely what they were looking for, or they might be thinking that okay, you have a good approach, but there are a few more things that they need to add. So they would add here that, okay, you want to handle data from multiple sources and how you can do that. All of those things can be asked over here. So be prepared when you are going for this. Then something similar would be hands-on assessment, where companies might provide you some links and some home, like they would ask you to solve it in 24 hours, or they would give you some time period and put a hands-on assessment, and you need to solve that and give it to them uh, on a proper tool and everything. So here again, it can be creation of the reports or solving some SQL queries. Excuse me. So those things can come over here. Again, behavioral questions are something that I have covered already. Here, something would be like, how would you handle tight deadlines? And are you more someone who works independently, or you need some hand holding? Sometimes they need collaborative, so they want people to get hand holded. Sometimes they want people to be independent. It depends on teams, managers. So it's on you also. You can ask what kind of things they are expecting from you. Then managerial and team interview is very important round, and you will definitely have this round. And one optional round can be domain specific questions, like if you're applying for a finance data analysis, or you're trying to apply for a data applied sciences analytics role, then All of those things will have a particular domain specific questions. Those you need to be prepared for. Okay. In the managerial round, you would meet the hiring manager. It is for sure that you would meet hiring manager in once in all your interview rounds. And in this, generally, what is checked is, do you fit in the team or not? Mostly, and they would also see your experience, what's your motivation, and all of those things. So with this, I think we have covered almost every round of the interviews, and we have 4 minutes left. In this, I would try to address as many questions as possible, and I would also seek some questions if there's something for coding ninjas. So, moving on to our Q&A session. Um, few questions that I'm getting from the chat as well. Sophia, I don't know what previous slide you were looking at, so I'm excluding that. Abhiman, will ChatGPT shorted resume can be caught or rejected by ATS? Even if it is getting caught, I think there's no harm if it is uh like ChatGPT one. Why not? But again, I think we have seen one post recently where somebody have just copy pasted from ChatGPT where they have not included the experience, but they have included something that ChatGPT told. Here you can include the experience, right? So you need to customize, obviously, right? You're applying for such big opportunity, try to put in efforts is what I can say. So there's no harm in using chat gpt and AI tools, but make sure you're using it with some intelligence and some wisdom. Okay, and Naga Sai is telling, learn statistics before practice the exploratory data analysis. Yes, basic one would be needed. Um, I'm not able to find the Q&A session. But okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. The recording would be shared to us after the session. It will be available on the portal, so you can reach out from there. Does our resume have to go through ATS? Yes, every resume, even if the internal candidates are applying through the portal, that goes through ATS, and our resumes also get rejected if it's not following the ATS things. So yes, ATS will come into the picture. I heard that there are few things for voice breaking, unable to hear. I hope it was good and able to capture the information. I did not read that in the middle in my session, but it was only in the beginning, I guess, not later. So few more questions are there, but mostly I feel is related to uh, job boot camp. So I will hand it over to Coding Ninja's team. There's one last question: how to tackle case study questions. Case study questions, again, you need to um, show what you have really done. Don't fake out, and try to show what problem you have done, what problem you have solved, what was the problem statement, what tools you have used. So and always have an impact statement, like what was the impact, what was your time management skill over there. Highlight your skills over here, which are your strengths. And also, if you try to show some of your weaknesses that you have overcome through those case studies, and if you got to know something you have improved, then that also mention over here. So I hope that answers your question. um the rest questions are something related to coding ninja, so I will hand it over to them. Coding ninja's team, you could take it over for further questions.
Hey, hi. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. And with that, I can see a lot of questions around Coding Ninja's job bootcamp. And for that, we have senior program expert from our team, and he will take over and will explain how this, Coding Ninja's job bootcamp in data analytics can be ideal roadmap for you. So just 5 to 10 minutes. Whosoever wants to understand about this, know more about this, they can stay and can keep dropping their questions in chat box because we will be catering to them by the end of the uh, you know 5-10 minutes, within more 5 more minutes, I guess. So yeah, Karan Khanna, now it's over to you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I would like to thank the mentor for such an insightful session. And hi, everyone. So my name is Karan, and I am the senior program expert from Job Boot.